Hey, what's up? This is another edition of 100 Yards with Michael Bumpus. I'm your host, Michael Bumpus. Today we get to talk to Tyler Lockett. Tyler, how you doing, man?
Doing real good.
Good to see you, man.
Nice
Thanks for taking
seeing you
time.
too. Oh, no problem.
So everybody knows you as a football player, but you got a book about to drop on the 15th called Reflection. It's a poetry book. How did you get into poetry, and do you have a favorite poet?
Well, I got into poetry. I was listening to P4CM. There was called the Passion for Christ movement, and listened to this dude. His name was Carnus, and it was pretty good what he said. It was talking about, does anybody know that you're a Christian? And one of the key things that stuck with me was, does anybody know that you're a Christian by your actions, or does everybody think that you're a Christian because you're acting? So at that moment, I wanted to just start trying to come up with some stuff. I thought it was cool that he was able to talk and rhyme and still get his point across. And so I've been doing it ever since 2010. And a publishing company reached out to me, wanted to do a publishing book. So I put a lot of my spoken word and stuff into the book, and it's called Reflection. So a lot of it is just about not being able to see yourself the way that you're supposed to see yourself. And a lot of that is because we want validation and affirmation, and we look for money and power and fame, things to fulfill us, and we realize that it doesn't fulfill us, and we end up losing ourselves even before that or along the way, to where you can't see yourself the way that you're supposed to when you look at the mirror. And so the whole thing is just about reflection, and it's about a lot of different stuff, anxiety. I had a friend that talked about committing suicide, like all that different type of stuff. And it's like a self-help book as well as a note to self, just key things to remind yourself on what's important in life and what to focus on.
That's what's up. So, I mean, you're an artist, you got your poetry thing going, and route running is an art in itself. And I think people forget that sometimes. And I want to talk about a play you did last year. You might remember, but you're running a deep cross against the Niners. You got a backer on your hip, and you kind of hit the brakes on them to cause a collision, and boom, accelerates to get some separation. Is that something you taught yourself, or you learned just playing ball?
Well, that's something that I remember Nate, our receiver coach, was talking about how Antonio Brown kind of does it. And one of the things that I never really worked on that a lot, but one of the things that I know that I worked on was just being able to position myself where I need to be able to be at in order to catch the ball. I'm not the biggest receiver, so a lot of times it's gonna be hard to win jump balls, but it's not impossible. But just to be able to put myself in a place where the DB is behind me or the DB overplays it and I come back to the ball, those different types of things allows me to be successful because I can position myself, which makes me comfortable to catch it.
Yeah, sure. So now in this organization, there's the tip from Richard Sherman. So now we got the toe tap by Lockett. In my opinion, that play is going to be played over and over throughout the NFL. My opinion, one of the greatest catches of all time, in my opinion.
Oh, wow.
Where does that rank for you as far as your catches?
I think by far number one. Yeah. I think it was a lot of catches that I've had so far, but just in that type of game, that type of environment, and they were up 6-0. It sounds like it was nothing, but they were killing us on just with the turnovers, and they had the momentum of the game. And the way that Russell threw it, he threw it off his back foot, threw it into a place where only I could get it. I positioned myself like I was talking about, was able to come down with the catch, and I just was doing my job. Like for me, I just thought it was something that I always do. It's just do your job, figure out a way to win. And I realized when you just do the work, the result is going to speak for itself, and everybody else is going to highlight it or value it however they're supposed to. But big things only come when you do the little things.
Yeah. So back in the day, I wore 16 for the Hawks.
Okay.
See, I wasn't doing it like you're doing it, but I did wear 16. And I saw you wore 16 in college as well. What's the connection between you and the number 16?
Man, I wanted to wear number 12 when I got to college. I was talking to Ty Zimmerman, like, hey man, let me get number 12. He didn't respond back on Facebook. So they was like, do you want 18, you want 17? I was like, man, just give me 16. And after that, like, I just took off with it, and I was like, you know what, this fits me. Sometimes when you wear a new number, you don't see how it really fits you until down the road. And as soon as I got drafted here, I was like, you know what, let me get number 16. And they gave it to me, and I was like, I might as well continue on with it.
Yep, just ride with it.
Yeah.
Hey, he's an artist, he's a poet, he's a baller. Tyler Lockett going to Cleveland, going to do his thing. Thanks for watching.